originating from the podcast studio inside FAM 360's headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Above and Beyond Leadership Podcast. The Above and Beyond Leadership Podcast is designed to encourage, equip, and inspire our audience through a combination of inspirational stories and real-life experiences shared by other successful and skilled leaders in a variety of vocations. We hope that the Above and Beyond Leadership Podcast empowers each one of us to step out, step up, and ultimately thrive as leaders. Now here's our host, Mr. Matt Maloney.
Hello and welcome. My name is Matt Maloney, and I am the host of the Above and Beyond Leadership Podcast. Welcome, everyone. This is our very first episode of the Above and Beyond Leadership Podcast, and I am grateful that you have chosen to join us. So why do a podcast? For many years, I've been challenged and encouraged by people, both in my personal life and in my business life with other leaders, about leadership principles, things in which people live their lives by. John Maxwell once said, "A leader is great not because of his or her power, but because of his or her ability to empower others." My sincere hope with this podcast is that it helps empower and inspire leaders of all walks of life. Here's the truth. From work to home and everything in between, we all impact someone. On this podcast, our aim is to invite guests who lead their lives both at work and home with integrity and a spirit that aims to serve others first. Thanks for joining me on this journey as we learn to lead others with a heart and mindset to go above and beyond. Now, on our first episode, I'd like to introduce to our podcast audience, Ms. Donna Boyd.
Good morning.
In 2018, we decided to create a leadership award called the Above and Beyond Leadership Award. For our organization, this award was the highest distinction of leadership that we could give to any employee across our entire group of companies. And there are several principles and requirements of the award, and I won't go into all of them today, but some of those key principles and key factors in us awarding this award to an employee is that the employee has to have integrity. They have to be coachable. They have to serve others both inside the organization as well as outside the organization. They have to show that they are selfless and that they have humility. They have to be confident and convicted, both within the workplace and the things that they do outside the workplace. They definitely have to be problem solvers because we all know that in business, we always have problems that we run into. And they understand the value and they personify the value of teamwork. And ultimately, through their actions within the organization, they inspire other people, they lift other people up just to be better people. And today we thought we would start with this year's recipient of the award. I'll tell you, from my perspective, Donna's been with us for 10 years now. She has been such an incredible asset to our organization in so many ways. I could probably spend 20 minutes of this podcast talking about the things that she's done for the organization and how she's inspired other people, including myself, just with her attitude, her persistence, how she works with others in the organization, all of the things that encompass and embody what it means within our company to be an above and beyond leader and to qualify for this award. And so today we wanted to have Donna on, talk a little bit about her, learn a little bit about Donna, both inside the workplace and outside the workplace, and let our viewers get a glimpse of her. So Donna, why don't I start off? How long have you been with the organization? What's your job title? And just what do you do generally for the company?
Okay, well, I've been with the company 10 years this year, so celebrating that big 10. Yay! I am current title is Director of Administration and Training. Yep. And what that means is basically I develop all of our training documents for our new hires and for our current employee staff, develop that training, implement it, get it dispersed out.
Yep.
I watch over the administration function, which is our front desk, our receptionist,
Yep.
Making sure that she's greeting everybody and that she's handling her job functions she should be handling. And then also with our mail clerk and handling that ever flow of debtor correspondence that comes in. But I also help out and do things like responding to RFPs, RFIs, helping with client audits, just pitching in wherever I can. Right now, I'm in the process of helping bring on board our new chief compliance officer and general counsel. So helping out in the compliance area once again. So I'm a little familiar with that. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what I do.
Yeah.
It has a lot of ups and downs, and as every job, but they're always good. They always end up good. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, and I think that for the audience, and what Donna just described as the things that she does currently today. It's broad. It touches a lot of different areas within the organization, especially in the training area. It hits just about every new team member that we bring on. Donna is one of the first persons in the organization that she sees, and that's by design. Even before we elected to award Donna the Above and Beyond Leadership Award, we knew that, again, the character, the principles, the work ethic that she had, she would be a great personification of who we want the organization to be and who we want the new people coming into the organization to see. And so, but don't let her fool you. I mean, Donna has literally worked in just about every area of the company. And I talked a lot about this over the holidays when we awarded her gave her the award, about just her breadth and depth of experience. And that lends itself to being able to work with different people from all walks of life, right?
Absolutely.
And so that has lent itself to the success that you've had within the organization and certainly beyond it. So with that, just backing outside the organization for a moment, just tell me a little bit about what does your life look like outside of work? You can tell maybe even a little bit about your family, but just, what does it look like outside of work for you?
Well, first of all, about 3 years ago, I brought in my great nephew who was in a real bad family situation. So he is now currently 12 years old. So I am raising a second family, I guess you could say. So it's a challenge to make sure that he understands the importance of, stepping up to the plate, being honest, having integrity and being compassionate about what you do. So I spend a lot of time with him and share my likes, which are nature. I love nature. I love getting out, and I love helping the community, especially when it, involves the outdoors.
Yeah. I'm
a big rock hound, so I take them on gem hunts and, things for crystals and rocks. But, I have a ever-growing family. Got 3 kids, 5 grandkids. A couple of those are a couple great grandkids thrown in there. But I like to spend time with them, and teach them the same thing, how to have a good work ethic, how to be someone that other people look up to.
Yeah.
So, and just spending time with them and things that I love, kind of helps with that, because I just kind of lead the way for them a little bit is how I feel about that.
Oh, it's so good. I mentioned at the outset of the show that, the leaders that the leadership roles that we have to take on in our home with our children or with children in our family, other children in our family, like you've done. And I can't believe he's already 12, by the way. I didn't realize that he was 12.
Me too.
So he's the same age as my middle daughter, Maggie, who's 12. Well, she's almost 13, but, I remember when you kind of took him in and we talked about that, and it touched my heart. And frankly, it just shows exactly why. It's one of the things of why you won the Above and Beyond Leadership Award, because of the things that you're really doing and how you're aiming to not only lead well with others outside the organization and your family, but also inspiring others through your actions. So with that, what does it take? In your opinion, what does it take to go above and beyond in leadership? Like, give us an example of something like that.
First of all, I think you have to listen. You have to listen to your people and to what they're doing and what they're saying, because they're the ones doing the job. And while I think I know everything about it, there's always going to be something that I don't know. So I take the opportunity to listen. And then also I'm compassionate about what I do. I have a desire. I love my job. And I just have a compassion for people in general and just helping them. I've told just about everybody that ever worked for me, if I can teach you everything I know and whatever else I can learn, and you can take that and you can do a better job than I do and take my job, then I did my job.
Yeah.
I did my job. So I like to share everything that I know with anybody that cares to listen. I think it helps them on their road to success.
That's good. That's really good. Wow. I was reading several years ago, reading things, different articles and books about leadership, and arguably there's different factors in leadership, and one of those is emotional intelligence, and the list goes on and on. But one of the ones that's come up more recently that I've seen in the last 5-6 years in some of my studies on leadership is empathy. You said compassion, having compassion for people, and empathy, and understanding and bringing yourself. It's one thing to sympathize with someone in a particular situation, but to sit there and empathize with them is a little bit different. I think it's Brene Brown that had a book on that, and I watched a little video presented a little video that we did in one of our leadership trainings where she talked about that, and just about empathy and how that draws the people that we are with, whether it's in the workplace or what draws them to us, and then you can sit with them in that particular situation, and you can have legitimate, real compassion for them about whatever the situation is. So that's great.
It definitely plays a huge role, the empathy, because people like to know that other people care about them.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. So from your perspective, if you could give a leadership award to anyone in your life outside of work, not in the company here, but outside of work, who would you give it to and why?
Well, there are probably
There's a lot of people listening here, so
I know.
So they're going to be wondering, wait, is she going to call on me now?
There are a lot of people out there that I would love to give a leadership award to, but outside of work, my husband has to be one of the biggest players. I see him every day. He is also very into what he does. He steps outside of the box. He goes a little bit further, even though he doesn't really need to, or he gives that extra time. He just got to get it done, can't stop till you get it done.
Yeah.
And, he helped me along my way.
Yeah.
A lot of that I already had, but he helped with me push it when I get tired, maybe, and frustrated.
Yep.
He'd be the one there pushing me along, just saying, come on, you've got this, you've got a solution, just, put your brain to work and do what you need to do.
Good.
So for me, it would definitely be my husband, because he portrays that in his work life and in his home life as well too. And like I said, he just really has helped me on my journey.
That's amazing. That's awesome. That's inspiring to me. And not everybody can say that it's their spouse that they would give that to, and whether they give it to their spouse or not, that's beside the point. But that just goes to show the connection that you and your husband have. And the old saying goes, behind every great leader is someone that's there, that's supporting them and encouraging them and pushing them, and weeping with them in times of sorrow and celebrating with them in times of triumph. And I think that that's awesome. And I think that you and your husband are obviously good examples to your family, right? We do our best. I mean, that is, that's amazing. Congratulations on that. So thank you. So of all the times and all the things and all the experiences that you've had in your life, you've had plenty of opportunity to lead, whether it be with your family, your nephew, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, inside the workplace, perhaps in some volunteer opportunities that you've been involved in where you had to lead. But is there a time that you can think back to that you kind of wish, I wish I would have led a little bit differently? Is there anything, if there is something, saying, gosh, I I did my best, but I messed this up. And so if there is something like that, what would you be willing to share about that experience?
Well, I think at some point in time, we probably all have that moment. For me, it was just a point of just being really stressed and, stretched out, stretched thin, and just not taking the opportunity to really jump up and say, hey, I really, really have to have some help. I'm not just blowing smoke here. Yeah. I've got to have that help, and because I didn't do that, it caused me to what I feel like was a failure. But, I just had to dust myself off, get up and go back at it again and say, okay, that was your own fault because you didn't scream loud enough. You didn't say, hey, I got to have something here, whatever that something was. Yeah. So if I could go back and redo that, then I would say that would be an opportunity for me to learn how to be more vocal and speak out, in which definitely that experience helped me. And I think it's brought me to the point where I am able to do that now and can reach out and say, or just throw my voice in there and be heard, for a change. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that from, that's good. I think from my perspective, as walking through this journey, and I don't know if there's not a pinnacle, right? There's not a peak of leadership. You continue to learn all the time. And you mentioned it earlier just about learning. So we become, all of us, all human beings become capable and sometimes great leaders, but always through the experiences that we had and where we've had failures, right? People talk about it. The best lessons we've had is the failures that we've been through. Absolutely. And that's taught us and shaped us in our lives. And I think that's true with leadership, obviously. So curious, kind of funny, a fun thing, life motto, quote, scripture, creed, anything that you live by. Is there something that you could share with the audience that you live by?
Yeah, I think so. And it's actually one of our core values. As you like to say a lot, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. And that's kind of a motto I've lived by my entire life. Because, I always feel like I don't want to be mistreated. And I like to be treated like that's I'm good. Human, I'm intelligent. And I think everybody deserves that same opportunity, to be treated the way that they would want to be treated.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's something, I put into my home life. I try and treat everybody that I come in contact with the way that I'd like to be treated.
Yeah. Well, I think that taking humility for a second, and one of the core factors in our Above and Beyond Leadership Award, having humility and being selfless is kind of that first step to being able to say, you know what? Let me set myself aside. Let me make sure that I'm communicating with this person, treating this person, interacting with this person the way that they, or the way that I would like to be treated, right? And as you know, we've, as an organization, we've invested a lot of time over the last 5-6 years in cultural development, leadership development. And you may remember this, but one of the things that we've gone through with some of the character trait profiles that we've put together is learning how myself, how I like to be communicated to, and then how others like to be communicated to. And sometimes, as the saying goes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right?
Absolutely.
And so we can get across our message, we can get across the point. It's the same point, the same message with the same objective, two different ways. And one person is successful at it, like you most often always are, and because of how you live your life and your motto of doing to others as you would like to be done to yourself, and others may not be able to achieve the same goal or accomplishment because of how they communicate it. And so I think that's obviously present, and you personify it in how you work and talk and speak with others. So, all right, so just for fun, if you were offered a seat on a sold out rocket, do you go? Why or why not? If you don't go, who do you give the seat to and why?
Well, a lot of places on my bucket list, but I don't know that the moon's one of them.
Hey, soon.
It'll soon be
it may be just a normal trip for all of us.
It may be. For me, that's really way out there, and it's a golden opportunity. obviously, to go somewhere so far and so new and different. For me, I always like to learn. I like new adventures. But I think on this one, because it's a single seat, I couldn't take my soulmate with me, and I'd want to share that with him.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I would send my granddaughter. She's doing a little soul searching right now.
Ooh.
And I think she had her motto that she lives by is "I love you to the moon and back."
Okay.
So that kind of, okay.
That resonates right
well,
there.
here's your opportunity. You can take this trip to the moon, experience something new and different, and then experience the missing of your family at the same time.
Yeah.
So, she's just really a brilliant individual, and she's just always looking for the something new. But yeah, I think I would have to pass that up and give that to my granddaughter.
Okay. I like it. That's great. At the end of your life, right? Some people talk about, what's going to be on my gravestone, or what are people going to remember me by? I talk about in my family, and I talk about with friends of mine and men that I'm in discipleship groups with about, what is my legacy? What am I going to impart upon my family, the community where I worked and played? What does that look like? I'll pose the question a little bit differently. When the books are written about you one day, what do you hope they say about what kind of leader you were?
Well, I hope they say that, and I'm going to go back to the word, that I was a compassionate leader, and compassionate in being for myself and what I do, but compassionate for my people as well too. And that I was a leader that was willing to jump in and get my hands dirty with the rest of the crew. Those are probably the two main things that I'd like to know that I was remembered for. I worked, when I started my first job in the collection industry, I worked for a gentleman named Bill Stewart. Mm-hmm. And he is probably part of the reason that I really took the direction that I took in leadership, because he taught me what it was like to be compassionate for your people, to know that they've got a home life, they've got a work life, and it all needs to balance out. It let me start there doing one thing and just learning another and another and another and another. And I think, just the fact that my ability to learn something, and I like to always say, you should learn something new every day. Mm-hmm. You can never know too much. Yeah. So, and that's probably in a nutshell what I would say I'd like to be remembered for. The fact that I would dive in with my folks. I'm compassionate about my work. I'm compassionate about my people. And that, I strive to make us better than what we are.
What a novel idea. A leader who leads by example, right? I mean, that's exactly what, if I were to sum up what you just said, it's someone who leads by example. And again, embodying those values of our Above and Beyond Leadership Award: integrity, coachable, serving others, being selfless, confident and convicted, having humility, problem solver, jumping in with them to help get the job done. Obviously understand as the teamwork, and above and beyond all other things, inspiring people. So Donna, look, it's been a great conversation. I thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Matt.
I appreciate all that you do sincerely for our company, how you impact our people, not just the people that you work with, but I know people that barely know you in different offices and other parts of the organization, but when they talk to me and they're like, I talked to Donna, she's amazing. And so you're just inspiring them. I mean that sincerely. So thank you for all that you do and really going above and beyond within the organization.
My pleasure.
So guys, thank you everyone, and glad you were able to join us on this journey. I hope you have a great week and will join us for the next episode as we look for ways to take our leadership above and beyond. Until then, take these wise words from Mother Teresa as you go out this week. Be faithful in small things, because it is in them that your strength lies. Thanks, guys.